immediately. I don't know how else to put that, but do you feel like that is like a challenge within a partnership that you guys face? And hey, this is what we're aligned to do. We're putting this in here, and are you giving them more opportunity to kind of see like scope, or is it still, hey, higher education is a little bit more efficient, maybe to build on those skills that you learned, and maybe you can transition a little bit better into like robotics, to your robotics, etc. If that makes sense, that question makes sense.
It does. And I'm going to give you my personal opinion on it. When I would talk to my students, and don't get me wrong, for years as an educator, your best chance of making more money was going to college. It truly was, and getting the experience. That has changed. That has truly changed in today's workforce. Some of your best paying jobs now are starting to become, I won't say non-corporate, they're always going to be the highest, but they're few and far between compared to the skilled workers that we're going to be needing because the baby boomers are retiring. And I mean, that's my generation. We're retiring, we're giving it up, and not a lot of people are wanting to go into those skills, and it's driving the opportunities way up for carpenters, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, which requires some schooling, or you can get on the job experience. A lot of times places will bring you in, start you off, and they'll pay for your school. And let's face it, the cost of school anymore is dramatically increased. And so my recommendation to my students wasn't always college first. Towards the end. I mean, don't get me wrong, pre-2000, absolutely. College was your best bet to have better employment. But as things changed, and the world is changing constantly, definitely I recommend to my students, you might want to look at this not college right out of high school thing and go to work, and then go back and pick up the skills you need to enhance your job, or maybe you want to switch to another job. So yeah, it's again, I can't say that for every educator.
Yeah.
But I know where I was in the research we had done as a team when we were doing that partnership stuff. College first wasn't always the best option.
Man, I wish, and just for me having this conversation here, I wish it was more transparent that was happening. And obviously, you brought that transparency to your students, but just from my experience, I never had that. It was just, hey, what are you doing afterwards? And it's like, hey, what's cool? You see it promoted everywhere. And I'm glad you mentioned environmental change, because it is that transition big time. It definitely has. Kind of switching back, going back to the formation of the partnership. How do you communicate with your partners? Obviously meetings and phone calls, etc. But what is the main form of communication? Obviously conversations with your students. Is that the main meetings? Is that the main portion of your conversations as far as communication?
Our biggie was to meet as a team. We had all the department chairs would meet, and with our administration, and they would bring in somebody from the business, or sometimes we would go to their business. It just all depended, but most of it was an informal type of meeting. Obviously, sometimes it got formal. Once the connections were made, then it was, email was probably the most common used back and forth, because it gives you a record. That's the nice thing about email. It gives you that record, so you can go back and look at stuff.
Accountability.
Yeah. And well, this person said this, when did they say this? And you'll have it in an email. It's the new world, the new technology.
Oh, absolutely. It's big. I was talking to another interview yesterday. We're talking about how much technology has really influenced, how many channels it is. I mean, we're flooded with channels, not like the main one, I mean, we have social media, we have IMs here and there, emails. I mean, we're so flooded with how much communication, and it might be a good thing, right?
It can
think-
be, but it can also go the other way. You know that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. With that